Hey, and welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Journey Beyond podcast. In this week's episode, we're talking about a topic that is very dear to me, as pretty much every single topic that we've talked about on the last and previous episodes. Today is all about pain. Pain has a very special meaning in our life, and specifically in my life, it has taught me a lot and it has truly been one of the best teachers that I've ever gotten in my entire life. And today we are specifically talking about the three lessons that pain as a teacher has taught me throughout my life. Diving right into it, lesson number one for me is actually a realization, or a realization that I kind of knew about already. On occasional basis, because when you're going through life, it's not always just rainbows and sunshine. You have, same as you have the seasons throughout your year, you have times where and periods where your emotions fluctuate, situations in life fluctuate, people come, people go, and usually the going of people that you love, that are very dear to you, of situations, items, maybe a pet, maybe a dog, whatsoever, brings with it pain. And this pain is not always very pleasant. On the opposite, on the contrary, actually, this pain has sometimes the power to really push us down to our knees. And people who have gone through several life situations, so same as I have, and same as probably you have out there as well, you realized that, pain is much, much more than just this denominator that is just there to push to the ground and show you how shitty life is. Right? And maybe this episode right here today, for those of you listening who can relate, is going to be in some sorts a little bit of a painful situation, because you get to recap a little bit, and hopefully throughout this entire video, which I'm trying not to get too long, you will realize that there is so much beauty in the power of pain. And pain as a teacher holds so much wisdom, more than anything that you could possibly ask or look for in books from mentors, teachers, whatsoever. So the first truth and the first lesson that I've learned about pain is that pain is a part of life. As I've just explained before, pain is an omnipresent entity or deity. Let's call it like that. Right? Pain has the power to push us onto our knees. Usually after, days and days and days of rain, of sunshine and beautiful weather, 25 degrees, you could be slurping your cocktails out on a beautiful lake or on a beach or whatsoever. The shitty weather comes in, right? There are places in the world where, there is no rain, there's only sunshine, but this takes a toll on the people living, and especially the flora and the fauna living there as well, which on the contrary side creates pain as well. So whenever you're having a great day, you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you can be pushing up that mountain, that atlas. You can hold the world and its entire weight on your shoulders, and everything feels great. But then maybe something changes, situation change, maybe you lose your job, maybe your partner breaks up with you, maybe your pet dies, maybe a loved family member leaves, or maybe you're being betrayed by a friend, or cheated on by a girlfriend, whatsoever, right? These situations create pain within us. As we are all emotional beings being controlled by our mind, by our thoughts, and our mind, our brain, and our heart being two different entities that are sometimes not really working in coherence with each other, this creates this kind of tornado, the spiral dynamic of painful situations, which through emotions and thoughts are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Right? Now we have lit the baseline. Each and every single one of you has experienced something like this. This realization that pain is a part of life, same as the seasons are a part of life, same as the ebb and the flood are a part of life. Same as like the death and the rebirth of something is part of life. Pain is part of life. But the beautiful truth about this is, if you realize and you acknowledge that pain is a natural part of life, it's the winter. Some people love the winter. Some people are so looking forward after a beautiful summer. They're so looking forward to the winter because it brings with it its own characteristics. Pain has the power to push you down. It is something that hits us very hard, especially if it's something emotional that we have been attached to, that we have grown fond of, or that we've grown really proud of, But on the other hand side, as you've probably noticed as well, throughout a very difficult period of pain, there has been some lessons that you were able to learn from it. Because when we are within this pain, it feels like it's never ending. It feels like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But once we are over it, because this is a beautiful realization about the power of pain, pain is only temporary. Same as sunshine is only temporary, everything is only temporary, nothing is constant. So when you realize that this pain that is already part of your life is something that has to come for something new to be reborn, you will realize that you will create a certain level of respect towards pain. Like me, for example, I've realized over the last 5 years, because of certain business ventures that failed, because of certain relationships that ended quite badly, because of certain situations and opportunities that were just missed. Within those moments, I thought, God damn it, man, I really questioned myself. I really doubted myself. I had self-confidence issues. My self-esteem went really, really low in those times. And throughout those times, it felt like they were lasting forever. It felt like the worst time ever. I remember last year I had one of these situations where over 3 months, it felt literally like 3 years, like the world was just crumbling down around me, and it felt like it was never ending. But the beautiful thing about it is that once you're coming through that initial down phase, once you've hit rock bottom or close to rock bottom, usually the trajectory is going up, 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 up. Why? Because you are learning to deal with the pain. There's one really beautiful benefit about working with pain, is that you create and you build your mental strongitude and fortitude, that mental resilience within yourself to be able to withstand future episodes like these. So it's kind of like a muscle that you train, right? When you're new to the gym, imagine or think back maybe to your first workout that you've ever had. If you go to the gym and you hit your first workout and you maybe do a little bit too much because you're over motivated, guess how you're gonna feel for the next 7 to 10 days? Like absolute crap. Why? Because all of your muscle, tendons, and fibers, they've just been overstimulated and they don't know how to deal with it. So they rip and they build again and they create this painful feeling in your muscles, right? But imagine now you're going to the gym 1 to 3 to 4 times a week on a regular basis. At a certain moment, these same exercises that you did in the beginning are not as painful anymore. And the same thing works here with mental resilience. So pain as a part of life. That is the truth number one that we have all need to come to terms with, because life is, such a beautiful experience, and running away from pain leaves you with missing out on a lot of beautiful opportunities for growth that you are avoiding because you're too scared to confront that what you are scared of. That leads me to my second point. The second truth about pain that I've learned in my life and for my life. Pain as an opportunity for growth. So let's talk about pain creates growth opportunities, right? This is a concept that was pioneered by the Polish psychologist in the 1950s, Kazimierz Dabrowski, who studied the World War II survivors in Poland. Now, imagine the harrowing experiences these individuals went through. Mass starvation, the Holocaust, bombings, and the loss of loved ones all around them. So yet, despite all of the terror that these people suffered throughout their time in these concentration camps and throughout the Second World War in Poland, Dabrowski found something super interesting and surprising. Many of these survivors felt that they had become better and even happier individuals because of their traumatic experiences. So at this point, it's important to understand that this idea of growth through adversity resonated really deeply with me, because Dabrowski's work showed that trauma could act as a catalyst for personal transformation. It taught me that, the pain and the trauma aren't just hurdles, they're actually opportunities for growth. Because once you figure out within this painful situation why this is so painful, what you did wrong, maybe in those cases, some cases what you did wrong, maybe in other cases how you can become stronger, how you can prepare yourself for the next time to be more mentally resilient, this painful situation turns into an opportunity. So same for, going out there and living life every single moment of your day, because as if it would be your last one. This would be the mantra as well. Whenever pain comes and whenever pain happens in your life, and it will happen, make sure to enjoy this as well. Because at the end of every painful situation becomes a realization, and usually a massive upgrade to your current state of being, to your current charisma, to your current character, to your personality and identity. Last year, as I've mentioned, was the most previous episode where I was going through a period of 3-4 months of quite some painful breakup from a relationship, right? What this has taught me, though, is that within that pain, it feels like you're lost. But after coming out of this situation, I realized how much I've learned to love myself even further, how I've learned to listen to myself more deeply and more profoundly. And all of these little steps along the way of how being able to regulate your nervous system properly, how being able to, battle anxiety and, insomnia during the night, how being able to, just transform this pain into a force that I can use for positive good, is a really important and really interesting step that I've, come to terms with. For me, now explaining a little bit further, for me, I've learned how to use pain as a catalyst for positive change. Same as I've mentioned in my previous episode with Michael and Putu, we've talked about the ripple effect very briefly, right? How you do anything is how you do everything, and how how the specification and how the specification and specialization in one field, mastering it, can help to ripple out and ripple down into many other fields, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. So one thing I've learned and that I've taken with me was that last year, throughout that painful period, I really felt my body. I felt my body to an extent where I just had cramps everywhere. I felt anxiety, right? I really didn't feel good at that time. But what did I do? I used this pain and I used this anger inside of me to just go to the gym and lift some heavy shit, which was literally what I did for 6 months. And I can tell you that within those 6 months, you wouldn't want to be close to me in the gym, or you wouldn't want to talk to me in the gym, because I was very focused. I was really narrowed in, right? I was listening to some heavy metal music, which was making me even more aggressive, which was like enabling me to tune into my anger. I was really looking mad at everyone in the gym because I was just like in my head going through scenarios. But that power and that energy that I've crafted throughout my workout was incredible, because I was able to literally nearly double the amount of max weight that I was able to push or pull in any given body part. So as an example, I was going from around 85 kilos in bench press to nearly over 125 kilos in bench press within the last 12 months. Why? Because the first initial 6 months enabled me to, open a part of, or expand a part of my brain that was there to limit me. That was telling me you can't push more, you can't do more, so stay with where you are, right? And being able to push through that point helped me to unlock something within me, to take that energy and craft it into something beautiful, right? That time where I really had to do a lot of, I had to focus and sit down in the evenings, do some breath work, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep during the night. I used at a certain moment to focus my mind on the things that I actually do want to change now in my life. The times that, I sat down in the evening and I wasn't in the mood to watch any type of movie, I just took my notebook and I started writing things down, thoughts down. And these moments of pain helped me then to channel this energy into positive areas and positive aspects. Hence why this podcast got created. This podcast got created out of an idea, and within these moments of pain and sorrow, I was like, so what the fuck do I want to do with my life? Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? I don't want to be in this place anymore. I want to move forward. I want to do something. I don't want to experience the same bullshit that I've done just previously. So what did I do? I wrote it down, I actualized it, I put some, concrete steps into it, and I made it happen. So I just started, and from there on, I just went on rolling. So that is a beautiful thing. Pain as an opportunity of growth for our step number 2. So step number 1 is the realization that pain is a part of life, right? Step number 2, or lesson number 2, is that pain as an opportunity for growth. And truth number 3 is a very important one, is that once you realize that pain is an inevitable part of life, and once you realize that it can bring a lot of opportunities for growth, you can use it to reassess and shape your identity into the version that you want to become. So hear me out. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to make it very clear, because maybe some of you are going or have been going through a period of immense pain and stress and just negative emotions all around. And let me tell you, you got this. You are not alone in this. You don't need to be alone in this. One thing that is very important, and I can tell you, before I was not the same opinion. Around 1.5 years ago, I was not at the point where I would share this opinion that I was sharing right now. I thought that I could do everything by myself. I thought I could fix myself. Everything I would need is maybe some YouTube videos, some courses, and some self-taught stuff, right? But if you're in a situation where you're really feeling bad and you feel like you're kind of trapped in this moment, in this capsule of pain and sorrow and anxiety creeping in, you don't know how to help yourself anymore, go out there and reach out for help. There are many great coaches out there. There are many great therapists out there. And there's nothing wrong, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong in asking for help. It is the number one most important thing that you need to do and able to, get everything straight, because sometimes life seems very overwhelming and we can't know everything all the time. So hear me out. At the time when I was at my lowest, I luckily had a friend who was a really, really good coach, and I asked him to coach me. And let me tell you, at first, it was mainly him just giving me space, around 10 to 15 minutes, where I was literally just littering and just, venting off, just telling him everything that I have in my mind, telling him all the negative thoughts, telling him all of the scenarios, all of the doubts, just him listening, not saying a word, and you just spilling it out. Of course, I've asked for his permission to do so, because otherwise it would be very overwhelming. If you think about, you have a friend and he doesn't know he's like in a good mood, and you can ruin a friend's mood, daily mood, very, very fast if you don't ask for permission, if you just want to casually vent off some things that are in your brain. But let me tell you, after those 15 minutes, I've realized how a big clump or a stone was lifted off of my, mental burden or emotional burden. So I continued doing this over and over and over again with my closest friends, or friends meaning like 2-3 friends that I've told about it, and Daniel as a coach. And the beautiful thing about this is the more that I shared, the more I was able to, let some initial steam and, emotional sensitivity out of it, which enabled me to think more rationally and to have more rational thoughts, to think about, okay, so what were the things, the points, the characteristics that were leading me into this type of situation. So I did a real assessment of myself, of my values, who I was, or who I was until that point, and who I want to become. My identity and personality, being able to assess, so why am I the way that I am today? And what has come in the way of making it so? And being able to then restate, write down, being able to work with someone helps a lot. But, a lot of times I just had my notebook, my little diary, which I was writing in every single evening, the things that I wanted to, focus on more and strengthen more within my life. And ta-da! Within 6 months, it really helped me to get my shit together and to just understand as well what were the mistakes that I did in the past relationships, what were the issues that, or the problematics that were there, that were present, that were maybe not my responsibility to handle, but I thought I needed to handle it in order to fix it. But once you realize you're can't really fix another person or anything about that person, well, for someone like me, it was very hard to accept that I should just focus on myself. So I got lost in the tracks, right? And this realization helped me a lot to understand that actually there was not that much wrong with me. I was just not focusing on the right things. I was not focusing on me first. And with this communication with myself and with someone else, if you can communicate with yourself properly, reach out to someone and try to be able to, someone who's very neutral, a good friend, a best friend, a spouse, partner, whatsoever, what kind of situation it is. And just because they have rapport, they understand you without you needing to explain too much. And just talk, be vulnerable for once. And you will see how magical that will be. So the lesson number three that I've learned, which really helped me, was through pain, I took the opportunity, or I got the opportunity to reassess my values and my identity and who I truly wanted to become. So with this being said, we've marked now the 3 lessons that I took from pain within the last couple of years that really helped to shape the person that you're seeing here today. And I'm super proud of it because pain has become one of my best friends, because I know it's inevitable. I know I have days where, my emotions go up and down and up and down. Once it's rainy, once it's sunny, it always, it makes you, it influences you to a certain degree, right? Understanding that pain is an inevitable part of life, and that with every painful situation, there is an opportunity of growth and of transformation behind. This eases a lot the journey, because if you can learn through the positive aspects of your life and you can learn through the negative aspects of your life, you will realize that this is just one big game that you get to play and that you get to enjoy while just picking the fruits of everything while you're going along, right? So this is what I want to appeal to you guys. So if you haven't yet, right, this journey here that we are on is actually a journey of transformation. And as you've realized, and as you hopefully discovered over the last 31 episodes, that this episode here, or this podcast here, is not only about me, it's about you. It's about us being able to share these moments together. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to The Journey Beyond here on this YouTube channel, on Spotify, and any other platform that you use to listen to your audio podcasts. And follow my journey maybe on Instagram as well, where I'll be sharing a couple of clips here and there, right? But make sure to reach out to me whenever you feel like an episode resonates with you, and share your thoughts, share your honest feedback, what you have been going through, and let's work through it together. I'll be very happy to. And until then, make sure to embrace pain as a integral part of your life, and try to see the beauty in it, because you will be surprised how much you can learn from it. So with this being said, thank you very much for tuning in on this beautiful Saturday. Thank you all for being there. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and see you in the next one. Peace out.